On Friday, Pfizer announced its experimental pill designed to fight coronavirus, reduce the risk of hospitalization and death for high-risk patients taking part in a trial of the drug. Pfizer says it plans to ask the FDA to authorize the drug for emergency use. And Emory University's Dr. Winawer joins us now to really fill us in on what this could mean. It's so good to see you, Dr. Winawer. Good morning.
Good morning, Elise.
Okay, so let's start by, we got a lot to cover. Let's start by having you tell us just a little bit about this study.
Yes, these were very high-risk patients, so if they got coronavirus, they would have complications like patients with heart disease and lung disease. And they divided them up into two groups, about 400 in each group. Half got a placebo, half got this new Pfizer pill. And it turns out that those who got the Pfizer pill had a 90% reduction in severe illness, which means 90% reduction in hospitalization and death. When you look at the numbers, 7 people in the Pfizer group were hospitalized, and in the 7% in the placebo group were hospitalized. In the Pfizer group, less than 1%. Nobody died in the Pfizer group, and there were 7 deaths in the placebo group. So a significant difference in those who got the pill.
Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, pretty amazing when you think about it. But what about the side effects? What were we seeing there?
Well, they didn't report this yet because this is not peer-reviewed data, but the thing that is interesting is that they said that there were a greater number of side effects actually in the placebo group, because those who were getting the placebo attributed their side effects to the drug, but it really was from the coronavirus infection. And those who got the drug actually had maybe a few side effects from the drug, but their side effects were actually less. So I thought that was very interesting.
It is. Okay, so how is this drug different than the monoclonal antibodies like Regeneron that we've seen, used pretty early for early disease?
Yeah, to get Regeneron, you have to be in the hospital in an infusion center to get an IV medication or an injection. So you need a professional to be able to administer that. And the thing about this drug, and then Merck's drug as well that we discussed last week, you don't. You could presumably get a prescription when it gets approved and not have to come to the hospital.
So do we know when this could be available for use, Dr. Winawer?
Yeah, they're going to apply for an emergency use authorization next week. So I think this drug could be potentially available before the end of the year. It will take, it will be in the FDA's hands. They'll have to review the data. It depends how long that would take. But as soon as next week, Pfizer says that they're going to be submitting it.
So you've given us the facts on what's going on with this, but I want to get your take, your final thought. Is this a game changer, Dr. Winawer, when it comes to our fight against COVID-19? What do you think?
The first thing I want to say is that this does not replace vaccination. The best way to avoid any complications from coronavirus infection is to not get it in the first place. But realistically speaking, there are those who are not going to get vaccinated, and there are those who are going to have waning immunity, and after 6 months or so may not have enough antibodies, and they will have breakthrough infections. So this, in that respect, really is a game changer, combined with rapid at-home testing, because I can envision a scenario where somebody has symptoms, they then quickly diagnose it with a test that they can get from their local pharmacy. And then one other thing about the study that I have to mention is that these were patients who had 3 days or less of symptoms. So it's important to diagnose your symptoms early, okay? So if you diagnose your symptoms early and you take this drug, it could be potentially a game changer. And one last thing I want to say, it works a little different than the antibodies. The antibodies bind the virus. This is actually a protease inhibitor, which is a fancy name for a drug that stops replication of the virus. So, but they both work to reduce the amount of virus in the body. So, I mean, this is a really big deal because it's going to keep people potentially out of our emergency rooms and out of the hospital and make this something similar to cold or flu.
Would definitely be great. All right, Dr. Winawer, filling us in on this. We appreciate it. Good to see you.
Likewise. Have a great week.
You too.